17th century Dutch seamen running the spice route from Batavia to Amsterdam told of a full-rigged East Indiaman that clawed through cyclones off the Cape of Good Hope. She flew more canvas than any prudent skipper would dare, her hull lit by ghost-green halos of St. Elmo's fire. No hail ever raised an answer. Sailors decided that to glimpse the Dutchman was to earn a death sentence signed by the ocean itself, so they spat, crossed themselves, or whispered quick deals with any listening saint before the night closed in. Later versions blame one Hendrik van der Decken, master of a Dutch East Indiaman in 1641. Homeward bound with pepper, opium and porcelain stacked to the cross trees, he met an Easter gale. The crew begged him to heave to. Van der Decken, drunk on arrack and pride, swore he would round the Cape if I must sail till doomsday. Lightning split the main. Men went overboard, yet the ship pressed on, and the devil, or an avenging angel, condemned her to sail forever. A softer 19th century twist grants the captain a single shore leave every 7 years to seek a woman's faithful love, but older tars insisted the verdict was absolute. Hubris earns eternal service, never redemption. A 1685 entry in HMS Diana speaks of a Dutch fluit beating close-hauled in weather no canvas could bear. It vanished in the space of a credo. George Barrington's 1795 memoir said the convict transport Venus crossed the Phantom's wake and that the lookout who saw her fell from the mizentop hours later. In July 1881, midshipman Prince George, the future George V, recorded a sighting aboard HMS Bacanti. The sailor who first hailed the ghost ship died the next day. Such anecdotes multiplied in letters, court-martial proceedings and forecastle gossip, welding superstition to witness. Richard Wagner's 1843 opera Der Fliegende Holländer fused pamphlet lore, Heinrich Heine's prose, and the composer's own Biscay storm into a single drama. A doomed captain, a self-sacrificing centaur, and thunderous leitmotifs that still shake opera houses. Artists followed, riders swirling oils, Piles magazine woodcuts, Turnbull's lantern slide panoramas. Modern cinema reimagines the vessel with kelp-snared spars and crustacean crew. Theme park rides hiss her name, heavy metal albums roar verses about blood-red sails, whipping beneath an iron moon. Cultural mutation sustains the myth, yet its spine, eternity as punishment, remains unchanged. Cape weather brews Antarctic lows with the warm Agulhas current, spawning rogue waves tall as city blocks. Temperature inversions create Fata Morgana mirages, lofting real ships above the horizon and flipping them upside down. Electrical discharges paint spars in blue flame. Each phenomenon matches a detail of the legend, but even veteran captains admit that logic thins when a midnight sea overpowers ballast and prayer alike. Though no square rigger now rounds the Cape, maritime colleges brief cadets on the Dutchman for folklore and for psychology. Fear, paradoxically, fosters caution. A junior officer who half believes in omens reefs topsails sooner and double-checks the cofferdom. In the 1890s, insurers noted a measurable uptick in lifeboat drills on routes where the legend thrived. Ashore, Dutchman weather labels sudden Cape gales. Astronomers nickname a twisted planetary nebula after the ghost ship. Bars in Simonstown adorn walls with her crimson outline to lure tourists. A drifting hulk with dark nav light slinks out of fog and tabloids declare the Dutchman reborn. The 1939 loss of the South African liner Waratah drew instant comparison. In 2021, a rust-choked trawler washed onto Namibia's skeleton coast, its corroded bow filmed by drones as proof of the myth. Salvage experts find mundane causes, cargo shift, fire, mutiny, yet the public prefers a curse that sails till Judgment Day. Merfolk and krakens embody external dread, but the Dutchman embodies human sin. He is the mariner who challenged wind and God and was answered not by death but by never-ending survival. In an age haunted by forever crises, unending work cycles, rolling climate emergencies, people sense they too could be sentenced to perpetual motion. The ghost ship dramatizes that anxiety. Mastery stripped of humility becomes a prison without walls. Tentacled Davy Jones crewing the Dutchman in blockbuster cinema, neon green cartoons scoffing at modern disbelief. Each parody carries the core message that eternity without rest is torment. Folklorists trace the tale's drift from dockside alehouses to grand opera. Psychologists use it to discuss survivor guilt. Environmental scholars brand it a parable of relentless extraction. Corporate trainers cite the tale as a case study in overconfidence. A weather-chewed plaque at Cape Point marks the latitude where the Dutchman is most often seen. Ghost ships' sunset cruises ply the swell. Critics call them tragedy tourism. Guides counter that myth breeds respect for a coast that still wrecks tankers. In the hush after a lecture, waves smash cliff caverns and wind thrums through wire stays. Sounds eerie enough that even skeptics pause, picturing a tattered galleon negotiating black water just beyond sight. Because the Dutchman's curse is infinity, the legend resonates in any field that overruns its safety margins. Engineers cite it when deadlines tempt them past fail-safes. Sailors quote it when a novice tries to outrun the barometer. The phantom ship warns that some frontiers, whether oceanic or moral, demand respect more than conquest. Stand a night watch on the Cape Run, and you will hear canvas ghosts in the shrouds even on a steel deck. Lightning fractures the horizon. The imagination auditions shapes in the dark. Most dissolve into ordinary waves, but for one electric heartbeat, the watcher shares the Dutchman's exile, sensing the cold eternity that lies beyond safety lights. The legend endures not because it is true in fact, but because it is true in feeling. We are all helmsmen who must decide how much sail to risk, and the sea, vast, indifferent, elemental, will remember every oath we make against it.